Hey everyone, my name's Jared from Buckamore Model Trains, if you can see this, and welcome to episode 3 of DCC Fridays. This week I'm doing a completely shameless plug for something I do not even sell, that lots of other people sell, but as a modeler and like being involved with DCC stuff, I think this is great, and you've probably seen a little bit of this already in people raving on about it. It's the Digikeijs DR5000 DCC command station, DigiCentral as they call it. This command station, I think, hands down, is the best DCC command station you can buy, regardless of money. Like, forget money. It's simply the best, I think, in my opinion. Now, there's a lot of particularly HO guys out there here in Australia who are really keen on the NCE system, and that's great. I'm not a fan. That's fine. People can run NCE. That's all good. I'm not as much of a fan of that system. I've kind of grown up with the Digitrax system that you can kind of see. You might be able to see here. These kind of throttles and this kind of stuff. Being an N-scaler and being a part of a N-scale club that runs a lot of American kind of things and that sort of thing. So that's the Sydney N-scale club, by the way. Check them out. They're a great club, and we're building a really cool fixed club layout. Shameless plug for that right here. But back to the DR5000. You might be wondering, well, what's so good about this, tiny little box? Well, for one thing, it's extremely small. And you can probably see here, it's about the size of this little leaflet here, roughly. Very small. You can mount it anywhere. All it needs is a power supply. There's a small power supply transformer at the back where you can select different track voltages on it. That I've got that just sitting here in an A4 tray to put it in perspective. It's tucked back there neatly. It plugs into power, and you've got your track output and then also programming track output, and that's pretty much literally all you need to do to run trains. What makes it so great is that it has Wi-Fi inbuilt, so it is actually a Wi-Fi modem. That's actually literally what it is. You can actually use it to just do wireless communications between multiple devices if you're really that keen on it. But you can use the idea of the Wi-Fi is that you can use smartphone or tablet, connect to the Wi-Fi on this. And this is not using JMRI or anything. You don't have to have a computer. It's all built in, and you can download the Fleischmann Roco Z21 app, and it will talk directly to this. You can drive trains, you can program trains, you can control points, signal. You think of it, you name it, it'll do it. Digikeijs sell boosters, point decoders, signal decoders, turntable decoders, auto reversing, all that, like anything you can imagine, they sell it. It's very affordable, which leads me to the cost of these things, which is about $300 or so in Australia, which is remarkably cheap for a DCC system that is a 3 amp system. So it's not the most massive amount of power that you're going to get out of it, but that's more than enough to run really any small layout within reason. If you need a booster, they're like $50, I'm going to say, something like that. The especially really great thing that I love about this, and there's a lot of things I love about it, is that you can have Digitrax components connect straight to it. This is licensed for Loconet officially. So they've paid their money to Digitrax, and it literally says on here, Loconet. You can run Loconet devices, so that includes Digitrax, and I believe several other European manufacturers run on Loconet. If they don't, and they run on ExpressNet, like a lot of them do, I'm thinking of Lens, and I believe ESU. I haven't looked too much into ESU. Roco, with the multi-mouse system, all of that can plug straight into this. And not only can it just, you can plug in those things. So you can just plug in a multi-mouse, you can plug in a lens throttle, and it will just work. Not only that, you can actually have, say, like I've got here at Digitrack's radio panel plugged in. Cool. All right, I can run Digitrack's radio throttles. What if I have a friend who runs lens at his house or whatever? He can come along and connect his lens throttle to this, and we can use them both at the same time. Imagine this is the lens throttle. They will both work at the same time. I still think that's incredible. And that's basically any system that this supports for throttles and all the other equipment, that's completely possible. Direct USB to a computer for JMRI, which I use all the time for programming. So, you can use your programming track straight to JMRI. You can do all the other JMRI things that if you know about what that is. Simple. USB cable included in the box, done. It can be connected to a computer via LAN and also via or I guess probably more or via Wi-Fi as well. So you technically don't even have to have a physical connection. You could have a computer on the other side of the house running everything for all you're concerned. And the really cool thing about this is that I can actually, if you're running Wi-Fi throttles and you're using JMRI to host that, I can have this USB connected to my computer running JMRI. And then to host a Wi-Fi throttle, server, Wi-Fi throttle, hub, you need a Wi-Fi network. And so what if you're like me, I've been before at an exhibition and you don't want to just use some random Wi-Fi network that might be there. I mean, you can't trust that. You want to bring your own Wi-Fi. So you can connect your computer to this Wi-Fi. You can connect your phone, tablet to this Wi-Fi, and then Y-Throttle is being run using this as the router, which is very, very cool. So that literally means all you need is your computer and this, and you can run Y-Throttle. You don't even need your home Wi-Fi. You might prefer using your home or club or whatever Wi-Fi. That's cool, that's fine. But if you don't have that, you can use this. It has infrared, which is, if you use infrared, sure. Basically, whatever you want to do with it, it'll do it. The downsides to it are it doesn't support NCE, because NCE throttles rely on the command station to actually generate their throttle messages into the DCC system, etc., etc. So the throttle doesn't actually generate that message, it just relays it. It doesn't work with this. They're dumb throttles, I believe, and I'm not paying them out. I believe that's they're a dumb throttle. They're not able to send commands into the DCC systems. That's why they currently don't work. There's been talk of NCE being supported, but I haven't seen any of that come out yet. So all in all, it's a really great system. If I think of anything else, I'm going to splice it and add it in at the end. Manufactured in the Netherlands. These guys manufacture, you might be thinking, Digikeijs, who are these people? Like, are they just some random knockoff something or other? They are a company that's manufactured decoders, Uhlenbrock's decoders, I believe, is what I've heard. And if you haven't heard of them, they are quite a significant decoder brand in the European world of DCC. And yes, and at the time I got mine, it was quite a new thing and not many people were stocking it, but as you've probably seen, there are quite a number of retailers here in Australia, lots of big retailers in America, in the UK, in Europe. It's been tried and tested now for a couple of years, I believe it's been out. So it's a very reliable product. No one's saying, hey, don't buy these, they're a lemon or something. So they're very, very worth buying in that sense, and they've proven themselves. So yeah, I'm going to wrap that up here, and I look forward to, I'll add in here that I got my unit from very helpful gentleman up in Queensland. His Facebook page is Ridgepoint Rail. He's excellent at not only selling these, but he sets them up for you. He provides really great support. He's a legend of a bloke. go support what he's doing there. He helped me out with my system, and I have not had a single issue. I pulled it out of the box and plugged it in, and it worked. And it has not stopped working since. And I've taken this to Victoria twice, exhibited it up here in Sydney several times. I mean, I'm not on the road every weekend with it or anything. I moved house with it earlier this year, but as I haven't, left out in the rain or anything ridiculous, but it hasn't let me down whatsoever, so can't complain. Back again, there's a little bit I'm just going to add in here. I forgot to mention when I was talking about Ridgepoint Rail that he also gives you a 2-year warranty, which is great. And there's a few more features that I want to talk about from my handy information sheet here. So to give you a bit more information, if you're really quite interested and you've stuck around for this, it can operate between 14 and 19 volts. So mine, I think in reality comes out about 13.8 volts, which is great for N-scale, and will go right up. And it's apparently technically 3.2 amps. Yes, the programming track is quite, at first I was sort of trying to work out, I think before I bought the unit, I was trying to work out sort of how it all worked. Your programming track is actually treated as mainline until you enter programming mode. So that could mean you could, have a sort of drive on, drive off kind of programming track setup, which could be quite neat. I have not taken advantage of that whatsoever. I have a separate programming track back here, and that's sort of the direct point of it, because I'm programming locomotives all the time and sort of just want that extra security that's separate, and wanted a sort of a separate long length of track anyway, back here on my little exhibition kind of layout. But yeah, with possibly some insulated rail joiners, you could drive your locomotive right onto it, and then when you want to program it, then happy days, you can program it. The Loconet. The command station supports, as I said, boosters, switch decoders, servo decoders, which Digikeijs sell, which is of note because servos are coming in a little bit more these days for driving point motors. That's particularly interesting. So yeah, servo decoders, I think they sell servos. Digikeijs do. Function decoders, of course. Boosters, turntable, yeah. You can update this via the firmware yourself via USB. There is actually, I failed to mention before, there's actually a PC app for the DR5000. So if you're not super into JMRI, but you want to enter into a little bit of computer control of your layout, Digikeijs actually have a piece of software for that, and you can bring up throttles on your computer, you can do all that sort of thing. I think JMRI is still probably a bit more advanced, but it's a good, helpful thing anyway. You can do programming, I believe, on it. I've actually never used it, so as you can probably tell, I have just used JMRI. But that's really handy, and yeah, firmware update, of course. The software actually looks quite interesting. You might have potentially seen it already. The actual app looks like, the window actually looks like a DR5000 and mirrors the lights and everything. It's kind of a bit interesting. I think it's quite cool, which is something neat about it. And yeah, the connections, just to talk about specifically what connections are actually available. I talked about Loconet and ExpressNet. So there's actually a Loconet T connection here, and also Loconet B. So you can run 2 Loconets, which can be handy for that sort of a thing. It has XBus. What is this? XBus. and it has XN plus FB bus. Now, I'm not totally sure what that is, but if you're looking for that, it's got it. And PB bus. These are ExpressNet protocols that I'm not super familiar with because I haven't used those kind of systems, but that it all works. RS bus as well, which is just a 2-wire kind of plug-in screw terminal on here. So that again is part of the ExpressNet kind of system, I believe. And it also has EXT88N, which is potentially also part of the Express bus kind of a thing. But as you can see, it is quite versatile if I don't even totally know what all of the things are, which is sort of the point. And there's also, here is your LAN Ethernet connection that you can use for this. Status lights on the front, so you've got a LAN status light, Wi-Fi status light, EXT88, Loconet lights, so you can see when you've got Loconet activity, Express bus lights, so you can see when you've got activity there. Emergency stop button here that can be queued remotely. I've used this over Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi has full control of it, which is great. And other throttles, no doubt, not these Digitrax throttles I have here, but more advanced ones, no doubt, would be able to operate this feature as well, as you're probably used to on other DCC systems. And of course, if you get a short circuit, it detects that and will start flashing the red light. And apparently, as it says here, it's got fast, reliable short circuit protection. I'm not exactly sure on the exact specifics of the short circuit protection, but I have not had an issue, and it's been done exactly what I've expected to do when I short circuit something. And yes, the Digikeijs DR5000.